y'all. 1/3 of Black Guided Podcast. My name is Chulo, just in case you didn't know. Right now, we're going to have a different location. We're going to try something a little bit different this time. It's the 5th episode. Y'all come with us. Check this out.
Thank you for tuning back into Black at It, where we are Black at It again. First and foremost, we have to thank y'all for all of your feedback, like all of the suggestions and inquiries that we've received. First of all, just to introduce myself, I am Shakayla. I'm the host of Black at It.
Chulo.
Jess, aka Diane.
Big Purr.
So as you can see, we are in a different space. You like our new studio? I'm just kidding. We're just guests here. Today I wanted to do something a little bit different. I wanted to shine a spotlight on our man Chulo, the artist, the rapper.
Thank you.
We get to know him a little bit better, and then also we have a special
writer.
guest. Oh, yeah, the writer. My bad. How I missed that? And then we have a special guest, Mike Blaze, that's gonna come in and drop some jewels for us. So I hope you enjoy. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Y'all know I'll be struggling.
Share, post, comment,
Share,
all
all that shit.
And you can cut it. Hopefully it'll be. All right. So this episode, we just wanted to kind of delve into who Chulo the artist is. So Chulo.
Yes, ma'am.
Why are we here today?
We're here today. Of course, you guys see we have a new location. We're in Cutting Edge Studios. And so basically, we're here today switching everything up because I've been working in the studio for quite some time. First, in case you just didn't know, I'm a rapper, singer, artist, songwriter, altogether coordinator of music. So basically, we're just shining the light today on what it is that I do. So I started off rapping around 12 years old. And so I think even before that, I was introduced to the choir. I don't know if y'all ever sang in the choir. Yeah. So y'all
escaped until I was like
exactly. So part of going to church with your parents is that using the child's choir. Yeah. So I was singing in the youth choir, and so like at the same time I started rapping. So I got that from my brother-in-law at the time. I used to go to his shows and see him rap and things like that. So I kind of just got a liking to it. So I started just picking up a pen. He taught me how to count bars. I started picking up a pen, and I just gravitated towards rapping. Mm-hmm. So it was one time. I was also in a mentor program at the time. So I remember my man Jermaine. Shout out to Jermaine. They were all in like a cipher at church, coincidentally.
Wow.
Right, at church. So we were downstairs in the basement. You know, they beating on the table. So they all rapping. They do their 1 2. So I just jump in that thing like my first little bars, and they like, oh shit, when you start rapping. So I'm like, all right, bet, I like this reaction. So I just kind of stuck with it. So at that time, I was rapping, singing in the choir, and middle school I also started playing the trumpet. Wow. Right. So that's all that.
Why trumpet?
You know what's crazy? I don't know. It's like, okay, so 6th grade, I guess everybody was picking their instruments. Some people had drums, some people. I don't know why I picked the trumpet. It just seemed like it was a cool instrument. So I picked it up, and I was okay. Like, I can't do that shit now. It's so fucking hard. It's so hard. Like, I was giving my mom and my sister hell in the house because it sounds crazy until you learn how to play. It sounds crazy. Yeah, and it
have like 3 little buttons.
Yeah, it's 3 buttons exactly. So it's all like how you it's all mouth posture. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's octaves and depending on how you focus your mouth, that's how you get the notes out and everything like that. So now that like I've gotten older, it's hard to pick that shit up. I don't know if y'all ever seen More Better Blues. You ever see that with Denzel Washington and Spike Lee? So basically, Denzel Washington's a trumpet player, and so
I've heard of that.
towards it's actually a good movie. Towards the end of it, Wesley Snipes like punches him in the mouth or something like that.
Wesley Snipes is in it?
Wesley Snipes is in it too.
I thought it was a Wesley movie.
Yeah, they all in. It's Spike Lee movie, so you know he puts all of them in his movies.
Okay.
I love
So yeah, like Wesley Snipes kind of punches him in the mouth, and so that fucks up his lip, and he can't play trumpet anymore.
Oh, he can't create sounds now. That is weird.
It's fucked him up, and I understood that. I'm like, yo,
man.
damn, I get that on a deep level because this shit is messed up. But yeah, fast forward, I got into a group called the D Boys. Shout out to Justin and James. We started D Boys, and we got a little traction in the city. So that's how pretty much I got my start as far as like the writing of
How
music.
old were you?
When I started making songs, probably maybe 16, and fortunately we had a studio in our high school.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, we had audio production in Enlow.
Okay.
Enlow High School, and so it was actually new. So I had an audio production class, and so when the teacher saw like what we did with the time, he let us come in there all the time and just work. So
That's
we were
dope.
we were fortunate, and this is before people had like studios that they can go to and work for. Like you had to pay to go to a big studio and do all that shit. Now like the kids, you can do it on your laptop and all that shit. But yeah, you had to know somebody who knows somebody. But that's how I got my start with music. And so fast forward, we were really the only people doing videos in the city. So we took it serious at a young age. So that's what kind of got us like known, and we started doing shows and things, getting paid for shows early.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, getting paid for shows early. And so we had a song called Shopping Cart that we used to perform. We used to perform. Listen, it was I don't know if you remember that end of the year party at the fairgrounds for high school.
Oh yeah.
So we did it. We performed there one year.
Dope.
Yeah, and it was so many kids there that we felt like the stage was gonna like collapse type shit.
Wow.
Yeah, we shut that shit down. But before that, we was performing at all of Garner Road, all the high schools and shit like that. We would do all the parties and stuff. So, but fast forward, years later, after the song had already been out for some years, we got reached out. We got contacted for Staples to license the song for their back to school campaign. Yeah.
That's so dope, Chula.
Yeah. So that and that really opened my eyes to like the different ways you can get your music out there.
Yes.
By that time I hated the song, but I realized I didn't have to be the face of the song for it to be successful.
That's right.
And so that's what opened my mind to songwriting. And so now I'm really in the space of like songwriting for people. Like I enjoy like doing the artist thing, but sometimes it's exhausting to try to do all the shit artists have to do to.
And he came up with that intro, by the way, like this.
Oh
like,
yeah.
It was nothing. He just came back. I'm like, yo, first time.
Yeah, that's all their voices too. That's all our voices on the Black Addict.
Came up. You made a beat.
Yeah, I did. I had a bongo drum and a tambourine and some DJ scratches that I found, but we put out. Yes.
You did put that together pretty quickly.
So is that around the time that you thought that you knew? Like, when did you know you were good? Like beyond like average.
That's
Because that's a big deal. It had to be something before that. You're like, hey, we might have something.
Yeah, you know what? Like, as far as words are concerned, I knew I was good with words because I would go outside places before. Like, you had to rap outside. Like, you had to battle people. You had to be in ciphers.
Is this an understanding or?
Yeah, as a rapper, like that's how you used to get your start.
Oh, gotcha.
Now people like jump off the scene with a song. But before it's like you had to rap for people for them to even take your song seriously when you put it out. So that's what I come from. So as far as words are concerned, like I kind of got taken seriously early ahead of time. And I think I told y'all before, I was like I was in advanced English. So that helped me with my rapping.
I get it.
You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of why I formatted my words. So, but as far as songs are concerned, I remember my mom told me, she was like, look, you need to keep going because if you was trash, I would have told you a long time ago.
I know that's right, Mom. I'm that mom.
Yeah, if you was bad, I would have told you a
dope.
long time ago. Like
Right.
and I love my mama to death. Like she was like my biggest fan. She would promote me at times where it was like embarrassing. And I'm like, yo, it's the wrong time. Like, you got my aunts and shit in the house. Yeah, like, what are you doing? We're in the middle of church, Ma. What are you doing?
Come listen to Chulo spit a few bars.
Yeah. Like, Pastor Avery, what you doing right now?
What were you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't. It just.
Church.
But that's the funny thing too. Speaking of church, I had a solo when I was rapping in church because I was still in the choir. So I guess the choir director got wind of that. I was like, oh, you rap? You know, black people,
Rap for Jesus.
they gonna get you. Yeah, rap for Jesus, right? They gonna get you to do whatever you can do. I was also the little kid that was dancing at the cookout. I was all that shit.
Like, do your little dance.
Yeah, do your little dance and shit.
5-year-old.
Exactly. So that like when I got older, that shit.
Hyping you up.
Exactly. So that's my baby. So I get in the choir and I spit my little 16. So by then, like, okay, I can't duck that shit now. So everybody know, right?
He's anointed.
Yeah, like, exactly.
I'm not making fun. I feel like I'm kind of roasting the church right
Oh,
now.
no,
I don't mean it that way at all.
No, that's real though. That's real. Everybody was like, "Oh, okay, all right, he's doing it for Jesus, so he's okay. He's okay with us." But yeah, like fast forward, that just opened my eyes to all the possibilities of like songwriting and how to make money in like music industry. Because it's like sometimes I just don't. As I get older, I don't want to do all of the extra shit that comes along with like being the artist and being the face and all that. If I could collect a bag by just being in the studio and doing what I love to do, and then giving somebody else the song so they can do what they need to do, I am fine with that shit.
So you're focusing more on writing now.
Yeah, like I love writing. Now, a lot of times how I figured out how this works as far as like with getting a publishing deal, you have to show evidence that your song making ability works, right? So you have to show performance and numbers and things of that nature. So if that's the case, I'll be like the sacrificial lamb to for myself to like put my music out there so you can see what my music does, right? For them to even feel comfortable hiring me to write for artists or this, that, and the third. See, I've written for artists, but it's really been for my relationships and me meeting people and me being in the studio. So they'll see me working on my shit and they be like, oh, you nice, you right? I'm like, yeah. Like, yo, come to the session next week, this, that, and the third. So I've literally been getting it like off the muscle like that. Like, yeah. So, but I'm looking into furthering the songwriting career. So
That's where the money's at.
that's where the money is at, and it's all the same work. Like it's
Yeah,
you're gonna have to be in this.
anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna do this shit anyway. So it's like, yeah. But interestingly enough, like the people I've written for, they're all women.
Really?
Yeah, they're all women.
Tough with your feminine side.
I don't know. I think men are just more. They don't like to say somebody else has done something for them. I think.
Or to them, or anything.
Yeah.
It's like they're just this stoic wall of
Yeah,
strength.
I guess that's also like the Drake thing, right? That's why the Drake thing was so big because like everybody like Drake knows he doesn't give a fuck. Who cares if somebody wrote the songs for him?
Yeah.
Right.
He's successful no matter what. But
Right.
because he's like in rap, if you don't write your bars, it's like a big thing, right?
Yeah.
Like,
But
you get respect.
you get respect. That's how you get your respect. But
You have a brain.
yeah, but music is like a collaborative effort anyway.
Yeah.
But
You know
it's
what I'm
still, even if someone writes a song for you, you still have to
Deliver in a way that it relates to the audience.
Exactly.
But in rap, like it's not about you showing your emotions to relate to. It's how clever you are, how
Right.
street savvy you are, how
Right.
well you can put together words. Like
Right.
that, I think that's the difference.
You're
Like, you
right.
are versatile. Like you rapping. First of all, I knew he was great. I knew that you rap, and I think I heard maybe one of your songs rap and sing. One of your songs when I went to the pool for the first time with you, and I heard I was like,
I
oh,
think
this is
Slide.
dope.
Yeah.
By the way,
Shout out to Daisha. She hold me down with that shit.
Slide, put Slide on your playlist.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Shameless plug.
I mean, I would show up at some of the things. I didn't really hear any of your music until we were looking for a studio for the podcast, and we came here to see if this was. And I heard I heard your music playing. I think you were doing something for Fly. And the first one, I was like, damn, that shit hit. Like, what was that? But I didn't say nothing. I just kept looking around trying to figure out, like, if it would work or not. And then by the second song, if you played it for me, I would know exactly what it was. So I was like, yo, who is this?
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah, I like that reaction.
Tell me. You've been doing this the whole time.
The whole time.
And we
Yeah.
talking and shit. We had chopped it up at one of the kickbacks. And I'm like, you famous this whole time just sitting here.
Famous.
Yeah, I like that reaction though, cause like I said, I don't like talking about myself. I just like to see people's natural reaction to my shit. And like I noticed back in the day, I used to like almost type spam my music to people.
Yeah.
But see, that annoys the shit out of people. Like it doesn't matter how good your shit is. Like people have to find it for themselves.
They do.
It's like the psychology of people. That's how I also got better with music, just understanding people. I used to run around with my boy DJ MC. He used to own Club Lotus in Greensboro. He's a DJ, and so I used to just see how the crowd reacts to certain records and certain times or what types of music. So that influenced me in how I make my music. But I like to see that natural reaction from people. I don't like to say, "Yo, this is me. Listen to my song."
Listen, it's okay when I get a chance.
Yeah, like sometimes, like when I'm in the car, I might put my song in a mix with a whole bunch of other songs to see how people react to it.
I love that.
And that's how I know if it's good or not.
Yeah.
And then I think a lot. I used to manage a few artists, and a lot of times we would find that when you do all the work, like the grunt work behind the scenes, that's how you show it to them without being like here in your face. Like, has that worked? How do you feel the response is? Like generally speaking,
I think the response is, it's almost scary because I don't get bad responses.
because it's great. I'm not even like it's good music.
I appreciate that. But sometimes I just look for bad responses because it got to be balanced. Like it's almost like scary sometimes. It's like
If it's no bad.
it's no bad. Like y'all have nothing bad to say. Like okay, that's why I try to get out of my own head. Like okay, I'm just doing something right. Like that's what that is. But so I just kind of keep going forward, and doing what I'm doing, being comfortable in myself and being confident. That also helped me as well. Like getting to know yourself and who you are. Like, cause my music didn't always sound like this. I think I was always good with words, but that doesn't always translate to how good your music is.
What your sound is.
Yes,
your sound.
exactly. So I think I figured out my sound and just how to be myself unapologetically on music, and it just translates. So take Slide for instance, right? That's like a party song, right?
Definitely is.
But it's a story in it.
It is like you are telling a story, and it hits.
Right, but it's like that's some shit that would actually happen. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm just gonna be honest and like just tell what I experience, what I go through, regular shit. Because 9 times out of 10, if you experienced it, somebody else has experienced it.
Exactly.
And like the most regular shit,
Relatable.
exactly. If it's the most regular shit, hits the most. And I think that's like what people are most successful. Like Drake, for instance, he talks about shit that all men go through, but none of them want to talk about.
Exactly. All those feelings.
All those
Like,
feelings.
all y'all out here like tough.
Yeah, like we
Ain't
ain't.
got no feelings. Future ass niggas.
No, the majority,
Everybody's
not everybody in Future ain't like that. Come on, man, Future ain't always like that. Like nobody's one way all the time.
You can't.
That's true.
You have
Unless
to be
you're very
multifaceted.
simple, and it must be nice.
That shit is not. It's like you're trapped in a cage of like masculinity, like toxic masculinity. You trapped in yourself. It's like, bro, you can laugh. I talk to my nephew about that all the time. Like if I go somewhere and I see like men afraid to like let loose and laugh and shit,
Relax.
I'm like, yo, I take it upon myself to like laugh and crack a joke and have a good time, nigga. Like it's females in here, bro. Like just relax.
What you mad about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just relax. But as far as music is concerned, like y'all were saying how much y'all love. What makes good music to y'all?
Something that I can like vibe to, like in any whether it's like rap or R&B or just like Janae Aiko, like just a vibe. I have to be able to vibe to it without even thinking about it.
Right.
If I'm trying to figure out what's going on or it's throwing my energy off, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll turn it.
Yeah.
But there are songs that I've had on my or not on my playlist, but like on a shuffle, like Pandora or something. And it's something that I never heard before because I have the songs that I like, and I've created stations that kind of go with it. It'll be a new song I never heard, and then I'll find myself midway through it like, yo, who is
What
this?
is this?
If I have that moment, sold.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, 100%.
You have a fan. So
100%. And you found it yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Has somebody been trying to force that song down your throat?
Like, okay,
You're
well,
like,
damn.
yeah, damn.
Well, you know what? To be honest, I am not that person. I am the person that has balled. That's how I found one of the artists that I love, Nina. That's how I found one of my artists is because I'll be the person, the guy outside the sheets with the mixtape. I'm taking it because I've learned like early on some of those mixtapes be hotter than anything I heard, on the internet or on radio or whatever. So every time you out here and you're this passionate, especially as a person that had a manager's heart, like if you're that passionate to stand out here and wait for people and just I'm taking it and I'm gonna listen to it on my way home. So I'm not quite like that, but I do understand, how it could be a lot.
You're the minority as well, and it's probably because you've worked with artists. See, the average person doesn't come from that background, so it's like if you catch them while they on the phone or they just having a bad day, they may toss your shit in front of you. You know what I'm saying?
That's so
Niggas don't give a fuck.
I believe it, and I don't understand.
They don't
it.
care.
I
Like
think people are passionate. What are you passionate about? To see somebody that passionate and believe in themselves a lot or enough to do that.
That's very true. It's some people just don't care. Like, and you got to know how the game changes. Like now in 2021, you can't pass nobody a CD.
No.
I mean that would be cute. I had somebody that the Food Lion. I'm like,
if you do it, you got to give them the CD player to play it. Because cars don't even have CD players anymore. New cars. Yeah. Like,
I think mine still has a CD.
Whatever, because you have an older car. You know what I'm saying? But if you have a newer car, if you have update, like they don't. Nah,
that's what he said.
Nah, but it's great. It's great if you still have like it's even like DVD players. DVD players are not.
I had to search for one.
You see what I'm saying?
Years ago, because I wanted a DVD.
4 or 5 years ago, that's not the case.
See, now they have what do we have? They have micro USB.
Even those are sliding out of the.
And they have like just a barcode.
Right.
You can get an app and scan the barcode and it'll play it.
So now you, with an artist, you in the dilemma like, yo, how do I promote my music? Because you're right, but that's the thing. It's more of, do we like you?
And like you enough to get this, and it's not like I can just pop a CD in. I had to actually take the time to figure out how to stream it.
Exactly.
Okay, so tell that process if you don't mind, because I thought, do you sell it to the streaming platforms, or how does that work?
So basically, you can go on any distribution site. I use TuneCore. So you just upload your music to TuneCore. It may cost you $20, and it goes to all of the streaming platforms at once.
Oh, that's dope.
And it keeps it up there. You may have to pay like $10 every year to keep them up there, and you just continue to collect the streams. And it's good and bad to that shit, because with streaming they cut your shit. It's like fractions of a dollar for a play.
That's what I was
Not even a dollar. I'm sorry, fraction on a penny.
Dang.
Right. So that's why nobody's really.
No, we do have title, but
yeah, but even now, like. People talk about title. Even the system is just fucked up as far as streaming is concerned. You know what I'm saying? It's not like when you would go to the store and physically purchase the album, pay $10 for the album.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's what I was thinking. It was like every play, every stream you get kind of like an album with sale type thing.
If you buy the album.
Oh,
but not a song.
But not if you stream a song. That's the difference. Like if you buy it,
and they know you need it because
that's the difference.
And no one's buying. I don't know. I think Nicki Minaj Pink Friday might have been the last one I bought.
Right.
Physically
see,
bought.
You see how long you got to be a fan of somebody to buy music?
Yeah.
And that's the dilemma with a lot of new artists. Is like, yo, that's why I laugh at people when they post like their streams at the end of the year for Spotify. I'm like, I know what y'all making. What's the point? That's why I really don't do that shit. Granted, I don't have a lot of streams, but you have to make a shitload of streams to break even. You know what I'm saying? I don't know the exact numbers, but if y'all look at the exact numbers of how it breaks down, think about it, it's fractions of a penny. So like you got to make a shitload. It's only certain people that are living off of their streams. Yeah.
But I think that's good that you're going into like more of the songwriter directions, because you can find yourself in places that trying to be or wanting to be an artist is not going to get you, because everybody wants to be in front of the camera. Yeah. But if they don't have anything to say, that's what the writers are for. Like Eric Bellinger is one of my favorite.
I fuck with Eric.
Listen. As a songwriter, as an artist, and all that, like he would talk about the process, like Beyonce, like when he was writing for Beyonce and having to go for weeks, at a songwriting, and she would choose a camp. Yeah, and she would choose.
I'm looking for one of them now.
Like that.
If anybody's watching this, if you know songwriting camps, let me know.
Listen, first of all,
I'm looking for that now, because when he was describing it, he was like, "Yo, everybody has like Pro Tools and." They have their own studio set up in the room. You go to the mansion and all that shit. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, that's probably like on a big scale, but it's like sky's the limit. Like he didn't think he was gonna be in Beyonce's writing camp. And shit like that. So that's interesting. I would love to do.
And that's where your talent gets you there. You already are very talented. You can hear it through your music. So if you didn't even have like the pressure of doing all that, and you could just, man,
really wake up every day, because
you got it.
That's the thing
You ain't
too.
gonna need us no more.
Nah, I'm still no. This shit.
Don't forget about the little
I
people.
hope you
Yeah,
don't.
we gonna be
I
shooting
hope
from
you don't
Beyonce
do
the
that no more.
Fence.
Listen, I
Yo,
would
B,
be so
I
proud.
got, I do this podcast on Sunday.
Sure,
You
We gonna roll out a red carpet.
Yeah. It's like, I fuck with Diane.
I fuck with you too, sis.
But yeah, man, that's pretty much what I've been doing for the past few years. Just songwriting. Of course, I'm putting music out here and there, but it's more like research and shit like that to see.
So what's next for Chulo, the artist?
Honestly, funny, we're here in Cutting Edge. I've been working on a project for my man Lord Fly. He has a book out right now. Y'all go cop that right now. So go to his website, cop the book. It's my man. So we basically put in an audio album with the book.
Oh, cool.
So that's why I've been in Cutting Edge. Right, it's new, it's innovative. So I just try to be that as far as making new lanes for myself and doing new things. So me and Fly got together. It's like, man, fuck it, we just gonna make an album to go with the book.
Dope.
My man Mike Blaze is very. This first of all, this is his establishment. Second of all, I met him through Fly about a year ago. So he's doing the production on the album. So I work very closely with Mike Blaze as well. And so today we have our first black-owned business segment, and we're gonna bring my man Mike Blaze in a second so we can talk to him. All right, y'all. So we back with my man Mike Blaze, world-renowned producer, songwriter, just all around great guy, man. I met Mike about a year ago, just coming into Cutting Edge, working. I met him through my man Fly. Shout out Lil Fly. I want to tell a funny story about Mike Blaze. So, I was at the crib, me, Fly, and Chelsea. We was watching Deliverance from Evil, and so as the movie goes off and the credits roll, we see all of the credits going, and they see something like a music producer or scoring, something to that effect, and I see Mike Blaze, right? And Mike spells his name in a particular way that nobody else spells it. So I'm like, that gotta be Mike. So we called him and we like, bro, we just seen your name on Deliverance from Evil. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. And we wasn't even looking for him. So, but I just want to take this time to, first of all, this is the first time we're doing the Bob segment, Black Owned Business. So I want to take this time to shine light on my man Mike Blaze. What's good with you, brother?
What's up, brother? Things are beautiful. Can't complain. What's up?
I hear that, man. I wanna ask you, man, how did you get started as far as like the business is concerned with Cutting Edge?
With Cutting Edge, Cutting Edge was a mutual acquaintanceship. My brother and my partner now, Phil O'Donohue, who's actually the owner of Cutting Edge. He owns a barbershop and he owns the studio space upstairs. He already had the barbershop. Cutting Edge Barbershop was already 10 years in. So he had a couple of partners from New York that were also mutual acquaintances of mine, and he had the aspiration through another partner he had to just have a music. He was into music. He didn't do music, but he liked music. Mm-hmm. So his partner at the time, real dope musician, and his parents had a little bread or whatever, and they wanted to invest in their son to get a little business acumen about himself. So, I mean, man, to cut to the chase, that thing didn't work out, and I was already a hired engineer here. Our mutual friend was like, "Yo, I got somebody that is dope. You might want to. He can be an engineer." So I was already work for hire, already here. Gotcha. And when things fell through the cracks with he and his other partner, I said, "Listen, man, I'm here. We can try to do what we can do from ground up. I definitely can't match the money that's already been spent, but I got clientele. I got a lot of years in. I'm here. So whatever you want to do, let's do it." 8-9 years later, here we are.
Yeah, I hear that, man. I hear that successful, man. I love the spot, man. It's comfy in here, bro. I've been to a lot of studios. Not a lot that I want to come back to. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's especially just you. I think it got a lot to do with you and your person and your character.
I mean, we try to keep what I call is I keep the light on. You know what I'm saying? And not just the physical lights. We try to keep the light on. You've been here a few times, and you know that the energy is organic, and it's really what fuels. Just like the building, positive energy, man. We are positive energy, and we just want to create a space for the creatives to really be able to, get out that energy, that creative
You can
energy,
feel
and
that here for sure. You can feel that.
Yeah.
and just make dope records. We ain't never cared about, and we've never advertised to the public. Not one time has the studio been advertised to the public.
I was telling him, it's like, yo, you know somebody that knows somebody that know about cutting edge.
Right,
That's
right,
it.
right.
That's
My
it.
son actually was the first person that actually opened the floodgates to the outside world. When we did, and that's another thing. This is how I met Flies, how I really met. So he wanted to do a collab like with what he was doing. I'm like, all right, man, let's do it. So
Yeah.
Well,
came
thanks
right
for
now.
having us first and foremost.
Oh no!
Right.
Listen. We provide a service. You guys did what you did to do. We appreciate the patronage.
Of course.
It's not even a question.
Yeah, man. So I've been telling them about the project we've been doing with Fly. We've been working closely for quite some time. But let's move back for a second. How did you get your start in just music?
My pops, man, was a musician. He worked with choirs. He worked with groups. He managed groups. He was a musician himself. And I woke up to music. It wasn't something I aspired to do. Sometimes when people they talk about, I've answered this question like a million times, and they like, well, when did you get into music? I never got into music. I woke up to it every day.
I feel that.
So, and ironically speaking, sort of with my son, it came sort of the same way. Deuce and I never had a conversation about, do you want to do music?
What up, Deuce? What up, Deuce?
We never had a conversation about it. His mom was singing with him when she was pregnant, so she was in the studio recording. He's been around music all his life.
Yeah,
his
I can
Uncle
tell.
Gav and uncles. I mean, he's just been around it.
Deuce got that shit.
Oh yeah, I mean,
He's an artist as well. Your son.
He's an artist, producer.
He's also on the project that we've been working on.
Oh,
Yeah, he does his thing. So, I mean, man, just his ear alone, riding back from Atlanta the other day, it gave me an inkling of just how eclectic his ear is. He was putting me on a lot of artists I didn't, because when I send him stuff, like I always tell people, like I go to my youngin to get the new sound and trap stuff, but I started sending him a little bit more melodic, musical, musical compositions, and what he was sending me back was like, I'm like, okay, he gets it. But his whole thing was, somebody asked him, he was like, where you get the ear from? He's like, man, my dad's Mike Blades, such and such, such and such. But what he meant by that was, he's literally been around all facets of it his whole life.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it was, man. Choir rehearsals were in my house. Quartet rehearsals. My dad had a group he managed. Like all of that, I woke up to it, to the point where my dad tells a story about they used to record all their rehearsals. So for months they couldn't tell where it was another note that wasn't in the rehearsal, that none of the members had, that they were hearing, like, who was doing the note? Well, I was sitting by the tape recorder. So I was just harmonizing, I guess. And he said for the longest time he couldn't figure out who was doing that note, but I started singing.
Speaking of which, y'all, if you hear him sing, you won't even know it's him.
really?
He fucked me up like that one
Where
day.
can we find it?
Oh, it's in there. He fucked me up like that one day. I said, yo, who is this? He was like, yeah, that's me. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. He was like, yeah, it'll mess you up. It'll mess you up. Yeah, so I know that, and I can relate to that, bro, because I was raised in a house where it could be anything from Anita Baker to Tupac playing.
Listen, same. Or
Anything.
Kurt Franklin and
Facts.
Fred Hammond.
Facts.
And
Commission.
my dad and I, we listen to Oak Ridge Boys, we listen to, Mighty Clouds of Joy, Luther
Oh,
Vandross,
yes.
So it was one of those things where it was just always around me, man.
Yeah.
And I even though it wasn't, I think when I decided I wanted to do music, like for real, was when I found out you could get girls singing.
Yeah,
But
man.
it's like, I used to go to talent shows, and the girls would be like, "Oh, he sing! Oh my God!" And so when I'm looking at myself, like, that's singing.
That's it. That's
That's what you call singing? No,
Wow.
I sing.
right.
This is what I do.
Right,
Like,
right.
you think that's singing?
I'll show you something.
It was a rap after that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm playing on the
Motivation.
keys, got girls coming to the crib,
Oh.
whatever. I'm doing the serenades. I'm like, how is that singing? Like, this is what singing is.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And I think that was the motivation. And then just like I said, it's in me. My dad's side of the family I didn't grow up with, but when I had an opportunity and a chance meeting with that other side, I actually was in the military, and I met that side of the family through being in the military. We shared her maiden name was Morris. My name is Morris, and she was like, you know what, you look like you could be in my family. And just so happened we got to talking about names, and we have a very eclectic set of names. You know, Emmanuel and you know, Oscar, and it's spelled Auscar, and you know, things like that. And so you know, yeah. So she was just like, well, my father is Oscar. He was the youngest, and my uncle is Emmanuel, and blah blah blah. I'm like, you know, and Yancey, and I was like, Yancey. I was like, well, I called my pops up, and that night I had linked him up with his first cousin. So and it was, you know, so. But when we went to the family reunion, everybody, from the little baby to the matriarch, blow, sing, everybody.
You know what? That's funny you say that, man. Wow. It gotta be some kind of gene. It's hereditary, bro. Cause even my niece, like, she writes her own music. She's 15 now, right? She writes her own music. She plays guitar. Even at 4, I got videos of her. Like, I got her standing on a chair recording in my studio. You know what I'm saying? Like, she took a natural interest in that early. My uncle played the bass for Chic.
Wow.
Played with Elton John, Prince. He told me a crazy story. Him playing baseball with Prince in the street.
Wow.
And they hit a baseball into somebody's car, and they took off like little kids, like Prince included. You know what I'm saying? Like shit like that. So it gotta be some kind of it gotta be hereditary, man. Cause I see you pass it down to Deuce.
I think that's just when you kind of grow up. Like my family grew up in church. My brother plays the bass. He plays pretty much all instruments, and he plays for different churches even now. And I sing. My brother sings. Like, I think that when you just kind of grow up in that environment, you become an instrument.
100%.
And then you kind of can play to your strengths, like if it's singing or playing it. Like, all my family, the ones that do play instruments, they learn by ear. And I think church gives a really good foundation for that, because you kind of know, like, it'll be somebody where you can go, my brother learned the drums by sitting on somebody's lap, and he's playing the drums at Word of God. You know what I mean? So, you know, I think that it's more so like I feel like just, you know, melanated people, we kind of already have that base. We have that source to tap into. And then it's cultivated when you're in a church or around people who sing and play instruments.
And I think we use music as it's love, and it's a message. We use music as message.
Like a language. It's like a language.
Right. So we pass it from generation to generation. We pass it down, and it creates this ambiance of love. And we use it to connect to one another. You know what I'm saying? So that's what music is. Now, they asked me this. I'm gonna ask you this, bro. When did you realize that this was a business? Like, when you can make a living off of doing music?
When I went overseas, I was a part of the Soldier Show, and with the Soldier Show, we went on tour with a lot of famous cats. Like, you know, being a country boy, I'm from a Hosky, North Carolina. That's
Bertie.
There we go. That's the only
I was killing. I said she the only person from
I've never heard of Bertie.
Wow. Okay. Yes. We call it the real 2-5. When I say that, you from the 2-5.
Exactly.
Bertie, Northampton County. I mean, all of that stuff. So there is no, and she knows what I'm talking about. There is, at that time growing up, I'm about to turn 49. So coming up there was nothing. We had no access to the mainstream. Like, never in a million years could I say that the things that I've done or the people that I'm close with now, I would have ever known how to get access to these people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I'm friends with a lot of the people I grew up idolizing. And when I got in Atlanta, I was like, wow. You know, so the military helped to cultivate some relationships that brought me to Atlanta. And once in Atlanta, my talents were able to, based on the people I was with, my talents were able to speak for itself, and I got to do a lot of things, and I saw the money being made, and I made the money. You know, I came up on the time where, you know, those non-disclosures was heavy, and you know, they didn't want to pay you. Well, you might get about 10,000-12,000 a joint, but it was it. That's all you gonna get. And at that time, you talking about somebody from a Hosky. I ain't never made a dime off I would do it for free.
Right.
I'm getting 10, 15 bands, sometimes 20 bands.
Now, I'm up already. I ain't worried about shit.
You know, but I think the business side of that came in after a couple of years, where a couple of my joints went all over the world. You know, millions of dollars was made. Like my music became a part of culture.
You start carrying it,
and I
doing
got,
carrying the one and doing the math.
Right. So but I still wasn't mad about it. You know, I made so much. You know what I'm saying? Coming up from that time, and but that's when I realized, like, yo, you know, and people, and I saw people like literally. I haven't had a 9-to-5 since 1998. Since I got a military. And I'm a corporate person.
Congratulations.
You know, I worked at the bank after that, so I'm a corporate person too. Like, I love the corporate world, but you know, there were some circumstances that didn't allow me to make that, you know, be fruitful in that. And Mike Blaze was born out of that. So, and after the smoke cleared, you know, Mike Blaze had already. I used to listen to people talk about me. I think one of the craziest time I've ever had in my life is when I met me. So it was a dude. So it was a dude at a restaurant. At one of the clubs that I frequent. One of my homeboys. He had a night out there. So he called me and he was like, "Yo, so I got this Mike Blaze beat CD. I'm telling you right now. You how you playing some other dude beats and blah blah blah." I'm like, what? So there was a dude out there had my beat CD saying it was Mike Blaze. So you know, and so they called me and I went to the club, you know, saw the guy, met the guy, talked to him, whatever. Like, you know, he was ready to get done real greasy.
Oh yeah.
He was ready to get it done real greasy. But for me, that was the ultimate praise for me. Like, I didn't even want him to. I was like, man, don't bother that dude.
Yeah.
But I mean, somebody who wanna be me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Imitation is the highest form of flattery.
Wow. I mean, yeah, for real.
Yeah.
So I was like, yo, that's crazy. Even though, like I said, I don't know what happened to dude. I think because he had to live. Because at that time, I pretty much solidified myself with certain people. I mean, the Greensboro area, and the crew I was with, they were already popping and things like that. So you know, that was.
See, that's the beat CD. That's equivalent to, I was telling them, like, you had to rap outside before. When I back in the day, like. Now everybody has Pro Tools in their house. They pop off with a song. You had to be rapping outside in ciphers, battling. That's how you got your name.
Oh yeah.
And that's the equivalent, like, beat CDs with y'all. So if somebody would have stole my rhymes and like, bro, you can't do that. You just know who that is. You know what I'm saying?
You know,
but mimicking,
or
exactly.
taking somebody else's music. You know, that's
Exactly.
just like you say. That's biting. You biting
Yeah,
raps.
you biting.
Yeah.
You biting.
Beats, stuff like that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And our music is based off of originality. We was having a conversation about why they gave Drake such a hard time about how the ghostwriting thing came out, and because a lot of our music is based around being original and being yourself and being transparent.
Yeah, definitely.
So when you aren't that, or when the curtain comes back and then we realize that's not you, it kind of discredits you a little bit.
Well, I think that when it's a certain level that a pedestal you put people on. You can't give a GOAT status to somebody who does do all of that and has done it all the way by himself, and then give somebody else that same status who's had some help. You know, I think a real interesting scenario is when Jermaine Dupri. I guess at one time he felt like he just wasn't getting his just due. Everybody was way more up on Puffy and way more up on Dre and doing whatever. And he was like, listen, when I go into the studio, I don't need nobody else.
It's just me.
I don't need somebody to write for me. I don't need somebody to lay it down for me. I don't need somebody to make the beat. You tell me which one of these people that you put on this pedestal does the same way. Dre don't write his own raps. May not make the beat sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Puffy definitely don't write or produce.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you're giving these people these, but I guess he felt like he wasn't getting his just due.
Right.
And he was responsible for making every beat and writing every rhyme for Crisscross.
Crisscross? Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Man, listen, Crisscross was my favorite kid, like my favorite group growing up. That's how it was a performance I had in school where I was I had my pants backwards. That was who I that's why I emulated coming up. So no, you right about that. But I with that being said, there's a difference between a beat maker and a producer.
Oh, definitely.
Right? 100%. I consider you a producer, but I want you to break that down for the people who don't know the difference.
Well, a beat maker makes beats. So he makes a beat, and you know, it sometimes, like, I guess the best way to say a beat maker, a producer can be a beat maker, but a beat maker can't always produce. Puffy even can be considered a producer because the producer gets to the end result. The end result is the song. So there's some people who understand that a beat, once you have a beat, you still have to get to the song. So, and sometimes a producer understands that just because it's a hot beat and these are hot lyrics, that's not always a good marriage either. We're doing for the going for the hottest song. What does the song feel like at the end of the day? So a producer's also able to discern whether or not what goes where, what goes with what to make the greatest record. So, sometimes it's beat makers who don't even have the ear for the other side of it. They can't even, once they make the beat, all they know is they made a hot beat.
Right.
But it's like some beat. Perfect example. We were just talking about this the other day. Moray's beat. Moray's if you listen to that beat alone, it's the most regular beat you ever heard in your life.
Out of that shit.
He made it something now. He could possibly be co-producer for that beat.
Oh yeah, 100%.
If he had no help writing, if he got that beat and went in the studio, whoever was the person that got him to what we hear, that person is the producer. Now, if it wasn't the person that made the beat, if it was him or whatever, that person needs producer credit.
100%.
Without what he did to that beat,
yeah.
I mean,
Listen, I know that firsthand because sometimes, all the time, I get beats. That's why I like working with you so much because we work hands on together. A lot of times I'm just getting beats, so whatever comes out is from me. You know what I'm saying? I get the beat. Sometimes it's like 30 seconds of a beat, and I gotta format the beat and write the lyrics. I'm producing. You know what I'm saying? So that's what makes it the difference. But on that end, we're gonna take a second. We're gonna take a pause, and we're gonna go listen to some records that we've been working on.
Okay, cool.
Yes, always.
No fear, no worry, no apologies. Fly was good.
Shout out, Fly.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Shout out to
Lord Fly. Getting you in tune with the autobiography.
Bobby's waiting on you.
No words, no apologies. There's no progression without direction. You fear God, there's no reason to apologize. If we don't. Oh yeah, I'm from the South Side. Just another day in my city. See some other girls and pretty women. Really is survival of the fittest. When you ride around in my city. Just another day in my city. See some other girls and pretty women. Really is survival of the fittest. When you ride around in my city. Where you from? 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 South Side, right? Where you from? Where you from? Where you from? Where you from? South Side, right?
Come on, Big Bird.
I'm from a region where they leave you steaming. Ray Mysterio, masked up, wrestle demons. Fighting with my girl while she dating, I'm leaving. Cause I really be toxic, I'm a keeper. I'm a Southside baby, get the weed for cheaper. Head to the tub with the block like a fever. How to sell, risk it all for that clientele. It doesn't matter, had a couple pounds in the mail. I hit the spot, man, I'm on my P's and Q's. I hit the store, say they see me on the evening news. Man, it's hard to tell your options why I get confused. Same nigga typing, now he wanna see me keep it cool. Niggas always in my way, so they making moves. Niggas worried about these hoes and trying to buy these shoes. I'm really over all that, that's why it's obstacles. I'm from the South Side, they give the game, we hit all the moves.
Just another day in my city. See some other girls and pretty women. Really is survival of the fittest. When you ride around in my city. Just another day in my city. See some other girls and pretty women.
I know. I got exactly. I got one more verse I want to put up here. And then I told him, I said, but the next month, we gotta put this out because summertime is around the corner. So
All right, Mike, I do have a question. So, while people are using your beautiful facility, is there ever a time where you hear artists? Because I know sometimes I hear artists, I'm like, yo, who is that? Is somebody managing them? Who's heard their music? Is there ever a time you're in here and you hear an artist record that you're like, look, I got to be a part of that. I want to see what's going on. Like, what's going on with them?
9 times out of 10, I'm already a part of it.
Oh,
Because I don't, I very seldom, I've gotten out of the recording process, so I'm not here when a lot of the other engineers have artists to go. But sometimes when ever so often that there'll be something I hear from the instrument, I'll come in and be like, oh, who is that? Who is that? But I'm normally a part of, all, because my sessions are my sessions. I'm the one recording and engineering or whatever, or even production. I'm on the production side of it. So we start from there. So it's like I'm already, and sometimes in those cases, like what you were saying, we already go in with the idea of we're getting ready to do something incredible. You know what I'm saying? We going in to make something crazy. So it starts with that. We already have the idea going in that we know. I think when I heard him, like really heard him, I'm like, we gotta work. We gotta work. You know what I'm saying? So and a lot of other artists, and I've been around so long that I have access to so much greatness and so many dope artists and so many people that know they have a dope person. They want to bring them to me. They want to be able to, they want to say, oh, you need to go see Blade. Oh, you need to go see Blade. You need to go up there with Blade. So I'm always a part of it.
How do you decide? How do you decide who you're gonna work?
Unfortunately, this is a business, so the deciding factor sometimes is just simply the money.
I got you.
You're paying me
I
to do a
respect
service.
that.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's just simply you're paying me to come and do the service. And I mean, over the years, I have kind of made it. I've been blessed enough not to have to take every session and do everything. That's why we've implemented a lot of other engineers or something. And sometimes I know what I'm getting into. I know this is probably going to be the worst 3 hours of my life. Yeah. These 3 hours is going to make me question my entire existence.
But the deposit is here, so
You know
you
what I'm
got
saying?
the
But,
business going.
And then sometimes it's people who I know don't have it. They just come to me because they've heard that I'm the best person for the job. So I have to honor even that. And being able to it's dope for if a person thinks that enough of me that they want to spend their money to help me to try to get me to help them get to where they feel like they need to be. I can't really turn that down. I can't do that. You know what I'm saying?
That speaks to your character.
It does.
Because sometimes all right, this ain't gonna be it.
But you don't kill that dream in them, and they may introduce you or be introduced to somebody else just based on the fact that they heard you and they got your wisdom.
And everybody's a person at the end of the day. So even if they may not be the best artist, they may turn into a manager who may have the best artist. You never know where that comes from. Some of the best relationships start from business.
It does.
Oh, yeah. I feel you know what I'm saying. Good business opens a lot of doors to things. Like you solid. Like I see who you are from how you move and how you handle your business.
Right.
And so now I get that 100%.
Now I do have a point that I can't go past. I even ask, listen, when they say, I want you to tell me the truth. I want you to do this, do that, and do that. I'm like, okay. So you know what I'm saying? Okay. So I get that. And I mean, I have been called a dream crasher before. Because I mean, it depends. Because I have to be honest. The music has been very good to me, so I have an allegiance to the music to be the same. At least to be honest about what's going on. So if I ever give anybody some constructive criticism, it's not just I don't like it. It's never just that ain't. It's always I don't like it because or some. And then some stuff I don't like, I'll finish it up with. But man, right now there's so much stuff out here that I don't know what a hit is no more based on the perception of what the mainstream will allow. Because if you're asking me a hit by what mainstream, man, you could spit in that garbage can and see if you can put it on and it might go.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So there are definitely different. That's always a loaded question because there are a lot of people who are making, and then some of those people, they'll be some of the most popular broke people you ever want to meet. They're not making the money that they perceive to be making, but that's all a part of agenda, man, and how they trying to do our culture. It's so many different facets to that question. So I would say, unfortunately, we live in a microwave world right now. Even the relationships a microwave. Everything people want it fast. They want it quick. They want to be able to, so perfect example, like if you're
I do want to ask y'all something real quick before since you brought that up. How do y'all stay in the mix? Like how do you keep up with the times changing?
I could start with that. Like remaining yourself, because if you take yourself wherever you go, and you're gonna be yourself wherever you are. So
Anyway.
you keep track of what's going on if you want to, but that shouldn't change who you are. Like Mike Blaze, he ain't gonna change because of the times. He always like the ingredients to doing what he does don't change.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like and even with music is concerned, like I realized that the longevity of music is determined by the ingredients in it. Like certain things that you put into it, like natural instrumentation, it will always stand the test of time. It's certain sounds that are going to be outdated, but instrumentation is always going to stand the test of time. And that's one thing that he does. Like I seen him come in and he get to the spirit fingers on the keyboard. I'm like, oh, you ill. Like, but that he's one of those guys that you never have to worry about like if it's gonna sound outdated. That ain't
Classic.
Cause some shit that you thought was hot 2 or 3 years later, you don't want to hear that shit no more.
Exactly.
You don't, and that goes to his microwave thing.
That's why I wanted to hit on that.
Yeah,
question.
because fast food leaves you fast. It comes to you fast and it leaves you fast. But if you giving them soul food, it sticks to your ribs. It lasts with you longer.
Yeah.
And that's what I consider.
You don't want it again.
Right, you gonna want it
like
again.
People using samples, they're good for a reason.
Exactly.
Like if you are the person that can create something that I don't care what area you're in. There's certain things that were popular in the 60s that are coming around now again, or some people just kind of stuck with it and it was just always classic. So if you have an ear for music, you can adjust. You can ride the trend and you can make your own shit, and it's still sustainable outside of all of this. You know, for decades to come. There's still certain things that I hear that I'm like, Mama, what's that?
Right.
Because I know it's a sample. I know that's not the original. My mom's like, girl, you don't know that.
Yeah.
That becomes with being an authentic musician
Right.
and having a love
Right.
for it.
That's the thing I would say. Just to piggyback off that, my mission has always been to be timeless. You know what I'm saying?
That's
So,
the word I was thinking.
yeah, when you're making timeless records, you don't have to worry about being gauged with error or fad or whatever. Because chasing fads is dangerous, because once the fad is gone, so are you.
Okay.
So and that's important. I mean, and it's you have to find that in yourself to want to stay genuine, to stay iconic and do, because it's so many great fast food restaurants on it. You know, I happen to be, it's so easy to catch McDonald's at 2-3 in the morning and this, that, and the third. But I'm a alkaline pescatarian. So if I don't bring my food with me, or if I don't wait until the next day, there's some sacrifices I'm gonna have to make. And might not be going hungry or nothing like that, but I have to make sure that I'm nurtured enough and my body is nurtured enough to keep up with what I believe the end goal is. To me, the end goal is to make timeless records. Right. So, and it doesn't matter about where I get that from. Like, if I know Chew is the best person for it, or if I know I might get a kick from this person, or a bass from this person, or a guitar from this person. So, end of the day, I just want to hear a great record, bless the universe, and be a part of something dope and forever. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my goal is I always say I'm chasing iconic, but the biggest thing is I want to be a part of the history not written yet.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So that's it. Like I want my children to be able to look in books and say, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They'll be in there. You know what I'm saying? That's I really want that to be the case.
Same thing we on Black Adder. We trying to make history. We trying
Yeah.
to innovate, create, just do things that haven't been done before, and that's what you get. When you do things that haven't been done before, you get what you've never gotten.
That's true.
You go places you've never been. So that's
Your
what we.
footsteps left.
Right. So that's what we hear. Well, I appreciate you, man.
Thank you
so much.
Like,
Thank
we
you so
appreciate
much.
having
Appreciate
you.
y'all, man. Appreciate y'all. This is a
Dropping your
dope
gems.
format.
I appreciate it.
So
Thank you.
So we
Wrapping it
wrapping it up.
All right, so thank you so much for tuning in to Black Adder. Thank you, Mike Blaze. I appreciate your time. Until the next time, guys, we will be Black Adder again.
Black Adder.
Black at it.
Peace.
Woke up, put my feet to the ground and head to the sky. They ever said I never could do it, bet I'ma try. Was looking around for help and I realized that has arrived. In my circle, I'm feeling God. He helped me defeat the odds. They can't stop the spirit inside. I'm feeling vibrant.